Not so hot. We should be able to get through the following objectives. We should understand the following. I'll tell you what to take down, but heat, take down the title, heat is the gain or loss of energy. It's the transfer. So, just listen up for a second. There's actually no such thing as cold. What we know as hot or cold is a relative term. I mean, it's compared to something. So when we say heat, it's actually you're gaining energy, and cooling is you're losing energy. So energy isn't created or lost, it's only transferred. And that's what we call the law of conservation of energy.
Mr. Copy down the bullet points.
I'll tell you guys which ones to copy down. 2, 1. So this is a key thing. This is actually the first law of thermodynamics, is that energy is conserved. It's not created or lost in a chemical or physical change. Just transferred. It goes from one place to another. So we're going to define it a little more in terms of where energy is moving. So I like to think of energy like money. So like if you spend money, you're giving away energy. Like you're cooling down, who gets the money is heating up. If you're making money, you're the one that's heating up, and who you're earning it from is cooling down, and money is transferred. Okay, moving on. So don't copy this down. Just listen up. So if you put an ice pack on your head, are you gaining cold or losing heat? You're not gaining cold. You're actually losing heat. Heat's being transferred from your head to the ice because your ice is at a low energy state. Your head is at a higher energy state. Energy moves from high to low. So that's why you feel cold, because the energy is parting from your head going to melt the ice. That's why it makes you, the ice pack feels warm to itself, but you feel it as cold.
You learn something new every day.
Okay? So you're cooling down, the ice pack is heating up. That's how the energy is being transferred. All right?
Do we have to copy that down?
Nope.
Okay.
So system versus surroundings. The system is what you're talking about. The surroundings is everything else around it. So if an ice cube is melting from the surroundings, the ice cube is the system. The ice cube is gaining energy. The surroundings are losing energy. So like the air in the table, the air in the surface it's on is losing energy. All right. So let's think about this. So look up here. So what variable we're going to use for heat is we're going to use the variable Q. Q is heat. So in this case, heat is lost from the surroundings going to here. So we think of it, heat is positive Q. The ice is gaining heat. And the surroundings are losing heat. So we'll think of that as negative Q. Okay? Like money, if you're taking in money, the surroundings are losing it. If you're giving off money, the surroundings are gaining it. So that's how we want to think about this. So heat is lost from the surroundings going into the system, in this case. Exothermic and endothermic. If the system's gaining energy from the surroundings, we say that's endothermic. If the system is losing energy, we consider that to be exothermic. So a couple terms. I'll let you guys copy this down, and we'll talk about the root of these words in a second. So the roots of these words, endothermic, endo means inside. Like an endoskeleton is something you guys talked about in biology. It's like we have an endoskeleton. Our skeleton is inside our body. Exo means outside. Like a lobster has an exoskeleton. So things that drive me crazy are like movies that have giant like insects. Because insects can only get to a certain size.
Arachnophobia.
Because those are not insects. But if you see giant insects, they wouldn't be able to support themselves because they're too heavy, because their exoskeletons aren't heavy enough. They're too heavy to support that. because they're mostly made of water, and that's a lot of water.
They're
So
trying to tell me those big insects do not exist.
the big insects in the movies don't exist. Means outside energy. Exothermic means outside energy. Endo means inside, thermic means energy. That means energy is going inside. Exothermic means outside energy, energy is going outside. Okay? So the system, if the energy is going outside from the system, it's exothermic. Energy is going into the system, it's endothermic.